Hey, it's Tuesday, May 26th, and this is now on HNN.
Open everything back up because we're pretty much coronavirus free.
Officials are projecting that Hawaii's tourism recovery will be painstakingly slow.
Nobody is guaranteed jobs.
This as a new poll says that amid the state's pandemic response, voters have a negative view of Governor Ige.
They felt like our governor and the 4 county mayors in particular are not speaking in one combined voice.
Got business at the DMV? Offices are slowly reopening island by island.
I live in my dream every day.
These stories plus Kaulana Pakele, the lead singer of the Mana'o Company, has passed away at the age of 47. We'll take a look back at his life and legacy coming up on This Is Now.
Good afternoon, the time is now 12:25 and you're watching This Is Now. I'm Jonathan, your director-producer. Alongside Ashley here, we're going to get right to the day's top stories with some new numbers from the Department of Health.
For a third day in a row, health officials are reporting 0 new COVID-19 cases today, which means the total number of cases statewide remains at 643. Hawaii's death toll stands at 17, and more than 90% of patients have been released from isolation.
These new numbers come as the state officials predict the economy could shrink more than 12% this year, with a 67% drop in tourism. Chelsea Davis has more on the state's efforts.
You have to have perfect processes at the airport. So we're working on those right now.
Lieutenant Governor Josh Green says to restart Hawaii tourism, the state will likely require a negative COVID-19 test from any passenger before arriving. He says travelers from Japan, New Zealand, and Australia should be allowed first.
Where they have extremely low rates of COVID, it's more possible for us to have like comprehensive negotiated agreements with a country, ironically, than with the mainland. Japan is 20% of all of our travelers, but 30% of all of our economic activity from tourism. So in some ways, they're the perfect place to start.
Another key factor, getting hotel workers back to work.
I would feel more ready if the employers would communicate to us.
The Unite Here Local 5 union is demanding personal protective equipment for workers along with better training, and they want to ensure that everyone gets their jobs back.
Nobody is guaranteed jobs back. And I'm kind of in the lower end of the seniority, even though I worked 7 years. So I actually kind of doubt that I will work full time for a long time.
Somebody could get sick and it would blow our whole industry. So everybody in the industry has to adopt high standards. Low standards for safety should not be acceptable in Hawaii. That will destroy our long-term viability of our industry.
Most of Hawaii's 242,000 unemployed workers are tied to the visitor industry. The state labor director expects fewer than half will be able to return to work.
My suspicion is that could be upwards as high as 190,000. This is just my perspective. I think by the end of this year, we'll maybe, if we're lucky, bring back about 35% of the people that we lost at the peak.
The state says it could be 5 years before visitor numbers get back to normal. Some want to hurry. Some are in no rush.
I understand that the economy depends heavily upon tourism, beyond heavily on tourism, but if it does reopen, we should be careful about what happens and be careful knowing that this thing is still around.
To make their voices heard, the Hotel Workers Union is staging a caravan on wheels through Waikiki this Wednesday. Chelsea Davis, Hawaii News Now.
Okay, we want to stay on this subject for a moment longer. Last year, the state saw nearly 10 million visitors. This year, projections show we won't see more than 3.5 million. Lacey Denise continues our team coverage.
The state's #1 economic driver is already taking a big hit during the pandemic, but new state predictions show even when Hawaii reopens to tourism, it'll take several years for tourism numbers to return to normal. The State Department of Business and Economic Development is projecting that the visitor industry in the islands won't open until September, and that visitor arrivals for 2020 will top out at 3.4 million. That's a decrease of nearly 68% from 2019, when Hawaii saw more than 10 million million visitors. The Economic Outlook predicts that in 2021, arrivals are expected to increase to 6.2 million visitors, but won't reach 2019 levels until 2025. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate in Hawaii is the second highest in the nation. The state report said that about 2/3 of all jobs lost amid the pandemic were in tourism-intensive industries. State economists are projecting that Hawaii will end the year with an average unemployment rate of 8.6%.
Time to get your mani-pedis in Maui County. Hair and nail salons are now open with new safety precautions.
You know, even though she was wearing a face mask, her eyes just lit up when she saw her nails, and she was just so overjoyed, to have a sense of normalcy in her life.
Reese Owens Yap of Lehiva Designs, Aesthetics and Nails in Wailuku says it's been a joy to reconnect and catch up with clients, even if it's through a plexiglass barrier. She says clients must provide health information before entering the salon and wear a face mask the entire service. Stations and tools are thoroughly sanitized between appointments, and personal belongings are safely stored.
They have a locker, and they can put their things in and store it while they're getting their services done. So we're trying to eliminate as many touch points as possible.
Clients say the added safety measures make them feel at ease.
It's very clean. Everything was so easy to do. Very happy with it.
Over at Salon 253, the phone has been ringing nonstop. The owner says they're only taking half of their usual appointments each day because of social distancing rules, and clients must wait in their vehicles until their stylist is ready for them.
First, we take an intake form before we step into the salon just to make sure that you have no symptoms. We also have you check for temperature. We write that down as soon as you come in.
Blow drying is not allowed in Maui County, but most don't seem to mind.
I got my hair braided, so no blow dry, no problem right now. So I'm really happy and I'm looking forward to be back.
Salons reopened on Kauai on Friday. Those on the Big Island will start welcoming back customers next Monday. There's still no reopening date for Oahu salons, although Mayor Caldwell has said sometime in early June.
And we're also following this news. State health officials say they're reviewing state lab testing data. That's because there was a temporary interruption in the electronic lab reporting system. Tech crews are looking into what caused the problem. So far, the state says it has conducted nearly 50,000 tests. And if you have a moment this afternoon, you might want to check out our H&N digital platforms. We just posted a story we did with our media partner, Civil Beat. It shows what voters think about how Governor Ige is doing with the pandemic response. We talked to Civil Beat's Chad Blair about this morning on Sunrise.
Hey Chad, I want to just give some results first before we get into the meat of this, starting with Governor Ige, because it was pretty negative against the governor. I believe in the poll you found that only 20% had positive reviews of him, 54% had a negative view of Governor Ige. And then for Lieutenant Green, it was completely opposite. He had a huge rating, 69% positive and only 10% negative. I don't remember seeing any politician with numbers as high as that. Now, Chet, what is going on here?
Well, thanks, Grace. We talked to a lot of people, and I called some of the people directly that we polled. And for Governor Ige, one of the people that I spoke to said, why can't he be like Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, right? He has those daily press conferences. He's totally in charge. It's usually just him. He seems to be in command of the facts. And this person wishes our governor would watch New York's governor to maybe get some inspiration. But that just doesn't seem to be the case with Governor Ige. While voters expressed feeling that he's a nice guy, that he's an honest politician, maybe he's just not cut out for the job. Now, Josh Green, the lieutenant governor, it's just the opposite, as you say. And in fact, no, I have not seen any other politician in Hawaii with those kind of numbers, with the exception of Tulsi Gabbard, and her numbers are nowhere like that anymore. But with Josh Green, people like the fact that he's a doctor, that he is willing to speak up and even challenge people in public. Having said that, I should point out that some people smell the politics. They're quite aware that Josh Green wants to be governor, and at least one person said, you know, you're the lieutenant governor. You should partner with the governor and work together as a team.
Well, the LG has never hidden the fact that he is looking at taking that top job. I find it interesting, though, that, you look at the two of them as communicators. And Dr. Green is a good communicator compared to the governor. But also, what people are saying in this poll, Chet, and I found this interesting, it wasn't just the way they communicated. They were looking at this as a leadership issue.
What I heard over and over from the people that I spoke to was they felt like our governor and the 4 county mayors in particular are not speaking in one combined voice. There is not one clear message that's coming across from our top leaders when it comes to dealing with COVID-19. And that's caused a lot of confusion. Are the beaches open? Are the beaches closed? What stores are open? What stores are closed? When will they open? That is something that I heard over and over again, frustration that our leaders do not seem to be on the same team. I would include the lieutenant governor along with the governor and the mayors in that.
Yeah, we've been having trouble figuring that out as well as the media. Chet, I wanted to also look at Mayor Caldwell's numbers because this is something that I found interesting as well. His numbers have really plummeted. You're talking 28% positive, 41% negative for the Honolulu mayor, for someone who is eyeing the governor's office in the next election. What happened here?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Caldwell versus Green. Who knows who else is going to jump into that race? Something we should make very clear here is that Governor Ige and Kirk Caldwell, they are in executive positions. They have to make decisions. They have to make tough calls. That is not necessarily the case with the lieutenant governor, who in many ways is in an advocacy role. But when it comes to Caldwell, there's a couple of other things that came out, not just COVID. At least one person said they do not like the way the mayor has treated the homeless people. The words that she used, she treats them, or rather he treats them like trash, as if they're subhuman. That bothers her a great deal. And there are a few people that still have not let go of the issue of rail. Rail is still identified heavily with Kirk Caldwell. We'll see what that's like 2 years from now if he does decide to run for governor. But the mayor does have a long, extensive career, and there's some baggage along the way.
Chet, I'm curious because you conducted this poll, and something we're going to talk about over the next few days. Was the focus on this purely about leadership during the pandemic and not any of the issues before? I mean, because you mentioned the homeless issue, but did that come up despite the focus?
You know, the question for this poll today is basically an up and down, positive or negative. Do you like the person? Do you not? But then we go and we ask everybody individually what they think. I can tell you tomorrow when we're on, a little tease there, we are specifically asking about the coronavirus, the response to the pandemic. What do you think about the stay-at-home orders? What do you think about the quarantine? And the results, I can't give away the story right now, may surprise you when we get that report tomorrow.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that, Chet. I'm actually very curious about those results. All right, Chet, thank you so much for talking to us today and sharing some of your thoughts on this poll. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
DMVs are starting to reopen, but there are some things you need to know before heading out. Our Casey Lunn has more.
Everything done by appointment only now, the driver's licensing centers. And a reminder that the satellite city halls physically are still closed, though they do offer their services online. So the staff here at the Kapalama Driver's Licensing Center getting ready to deal with some 160 appointments that they have today. Sherry Kajiwara with the Department of Customer Services for the City and County of Honolulu is going to show us a little bit about what you can expect when you're inside the facility. Sherry?
Yes, thank you, Casey. So when you get in, you've made your appointment, you've got your document checks, you'll be standing on these 6-foot spacing decals on the floor, and you will move up. When you move up to this last one here, you're going to wait for an available window. And then you'll move right up. You'll see that we've implemented sneeze guards at every window for public safety, and we have a cleaning schedule in between every applicant to make sure everything's clean for you.
And Sherry, that brings up a good point, because we were talking about this before we went on air, and people kind of worry about putting their face on that. You guys do have a cleaning schedule, but there's a way to avoid having to do that in the first place. Tell me about some of your guys' helpful hints to get you through the process here as quickly as possible.
Helpful hints. Here's a good one. If you don't want to use our on-site vision machine, just bring in a doctor's certificate that you've had your vision checked, and we will take that, and you can avoid ever touching this machine. Faster for us, easier for you. I recommend it for everybody. Also, make sure you have your documents. So another helpful hint is no copies. Especially church documents, we don't accept. A lot of people bring those in. You need government-issued documents.
For a birth certificate example?
Yes, for marriage certificates.
Okay.
Some people bring their church. Some people bring their hospital certificates for birth. We need the government issued documents. That's where people get messed up a little bit. And a helpful hint for women. If you have a valid US passport, bring that and forget all your legal name change documents, because your passport will normally match your social security card. It'd be a lot easier for you.
Very good. Anything else folks should know before they come? And one of the most important things I think we want to drive home is that really if you show up, like a lot of people are used to, so early for your appointment, you're going to be asked to go wait in your car, because really it's just 15 minutes, right?
Yes, 15 minutes ahead of your appointment is when we will let you in. Otherwise, yes, wait in the car. Only the applicant, so please don't bring kids with you, because your family members will have to wait in the car, and that's to keep the minimum number of people in the facility at any one time. If you have a problem with filling out the application with one of our shared pens, we encourage you to bring your own pen. That way you feel safer. Make sure you have your masks on, because that's required at all our facilities. And again, appointment only for now.
Meantime, President Trump has retweeted a post that appears to mock former Vice President Joe Biden for wearing a face mask. A Fox News political analyst tweeted this image of Biden yesterday with the caption, "This might help explain why Trump doesn't like to wear a mask in public." The recommendation to wear a mask comes from the CDC.
Now I want to get to a disturbing story from the mainland. Police say a 25-year-old woman from Utah was murdered by a man she met on Tinder. Chris Martinez shows us how authorities caught up with the suspect.
Police say Ethan Hunsaker called 911 himself to report he'd killed someone just minutes earlier in a home in Layton, Utah.
Officers located a female lying on the floor of the home, having sustained multiple stab wounds to the torso.
Investigators say the 24-year-old man stabbed Ashlyn Black to death with a pocket knife after spending the evening on a date. The two met through the popular dating app Tinder.
The motive behind the homicide is under further investigation. However, the attack appears to have been unprovoked.
Police say Hunsaker told them he takes prescriptions for mental illness and admitted to having daily thoughts of suicide and homicide. In a statement, Black's family called her accused killer a monster, saying in just a few senseless and selfish minutes, a life of an amazing, fun-loving young woman was taken, one who had a passion for being the voice of those who could not speak out for themselves. No time can fill the emptiness we feel and the hole it has left in our hearts. Hunsaker is being held without bond and faces charges, including first-degree murder. Chris Martinez, CBS News.
Hawaiian musician Kaulana Pakele, the lead singer of the Mana'o Company, has passed away at the age of 47. Our Billy V has more.
Very sad news. I confirmed late last night that Kaulana Pakele has died. He ran into trouble in waters off Makaha yesterday. Kaulana was a founding member of the group Ehukai from Hilong. Their biggest hit was Moloka'i Slide. They went on to win a Nahoku Hano Hano Award.
Take me back to the kind. Take me back to the kind. All over Mobeda, Molokai, I will return.
Kaulana worked with the Machinists Union for the last 10 years, also with Hawaiian Airlines, but he would later become part of the Nahoku Hano Hano award-winning group, the Mana'o Company.
It's a dream come true for me. I mean, I'm one of the few guys in Hawaii. People don't know I live in my dream every day, because this was my favorite band growing up, and I killed to just be up on stage with them to just sing a song one day, and now I'm singing with them. I'm living my dream. I love Mana'o Company. It's my favorite band.
That was an interview I did with Kaulana during the 30th anniversary concert for the Mana'o Company late last year. Tributes are pouring in for the 47-year-old. His former Ehukai bandmate, Jazz Kaivi Ko'o, said, "I don't even know what to feel or say. I'm in shock. We were just talking about an Ehukai reunion." Kapena's Kelly Boy de Lima said, "Rest in the arms of Jesus, my beautiful brother." This one from Kumuhula Lina Alapovao Jardine. "One of my dearest friends has left this realm to be in the embrace of our Heavenly Father. Numerous memories, much laughs, some crying. That was us." I've known Kaulana since his Ehukai days. He's been the nicest, most awesome, positive Kanaka, but more than his music, he loves his family. Our aloha goes out to Lisa and his four children this morning, and a lot more pouring in from our entertainment community.
Yeah, and I've known Kaulana for years. I was actually just with him a couple weekends ago. We were shooting a social media video for the Kokua Restaurant Workers Fund, basically to raise money for restaurant workers who are laid off. It was through the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival, and I just wanted to share a clip of the video we made together just a few weeks ago. When I heard part of the campaign is to sing Mana'o Company's song Aloha, I knew immediately that I wanted Kaulana to be a part of my video because it's his band's award-winning song. I'm just so grateful I got to see him and spend time with him, and I will always cherish that time I got to see and spend time with him and his family.
A special moment there for sure, and our condolences go out to the family as well. We've got to switch gears here, guys, a little bit, because May marks Asia Pacific America Heritage Month, and this year is meaningful because of the spikes in reported attacks and hate crimes against Asian Americans. Nancy Chin shows us a message of unity that's taking off online.
Actor Tai Ma plays Mulan's father in the upcoming Disney movie. He's used to being recognized by strangers, but a recent encounter with a driver in his neighborhood left him speechless.
He slowed down and rolled down his window at the same time. And he looked at me straight in my eyes and said, you should be quarantined.
Racist confrontations like this one led Ma to join Wash the Hate. The social media campaign is focused on coronavirus-related discrimination against Asian Americans.
So, the next time you wash your hands, wash out the hate that you may have for your fellow Americans.
The campaign asked people to film themselves washing their hands while sharing a story about how COVID-19 has impacted their lives.
Wash the hate.
Wash the hate. This year's Asian Pacific American Heritage Month coincides with an uptick in assaults and racist incidents tied to the pandemic's origin in China. More than 2,000 COVID-19 related hate incidents have been documented by advocacy organizations. The hostility has even been directed at Asian American healthcare workers, inspiring this video from doctors across the U.S. One of them, Dr. Audrey Sue Cruz, says she was taken aback when a patient asked about her background.
I tell her I'm Asian American, and she says, "Wow, can you believe what your people did?" And she goes on to say, "I usually wouldn't choose an Asian doctor, but you seem nice."
Both Cruz and Telly Wong, who launched Wash the Hate, say the first step is raising awareness.
No hashtag campaign and no social media campaign is going to stop bigotry or end discrimination. Our goal is to create conversation that might lead to action.
Hundreds have already tweeted with the hashtag spreading the message against hate. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
For those of you worried about Betty White during this pandemic, the actress says she's blessed with incredibly good health and is self-isolating to keep it that way. The 98-year-old national treasure is sheltering in place at her home in Southern California. She says she's spending her time reading the LA Times cover to cover and doing crossword puzzles. She's tried playing Scrabble with friends over Zoom, but says she really misses game nights. The Emmy-winning actress is also spending her days sipping on the occasional vodka martini and snacking on hot dogs and French fries.
Betty, you haven't discovered Truly yet, I see. I have to admit, because I've been watching a little binge watching on Hulu some old Golden Girls.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's good, comforting TV right there. Love that show. And our digital team's Dylan and Cheta is the biggest fan, of Golden Girls. I wish I had taken a picture of his desk because it is covered with Golden Girl memorabilia. All right, guys. Tomorrow is a big day in space history. That's because there's going to be a manned flight to space for the first time since 2011. Mark Strassman has more from the Kennedy Space Center.
They rode in Teslas to the launch pad in a final rehearsal. But for astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, this is their ride that matters. The Crew Dragon capsule, now poised to blaze a new American path to space. 6 years ago, Elon Musk's company only had a model of the spaceship. But NASA awarded SpaceX a $2.6 billion contract to fly its astronauts to the International Space Station.
Liftoff of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket.
By then, SpaceX had already made history. The first company to fly cargo there.
Houston, station on 2, capture complete.
And the first to develop reusable rockets, slashing costs and revolutionizing the business model of space. By 2018, development of Crew Dragon was well underway. At SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, we met the astronauts training to be its first crew.
Coming out here, it's a real motivator. This workforce is so young. They're excited about what they do, they're passionate about what they do, and it kind of reinvigorates you about why you got into the business, so many years ago.
For Apollo 11, the average age of a flight controller was 26. There is precedent for this.
Yeah, obviously we weren't there, but I would certainly say that the NASA of the 60s was not drastically unlike SpaceX of now. Learning as they go, learning about flying in space, learning the hard lessons, and being successful.
Start and lift off.
Hard lessons like this one in 2015. A Falcon 9 rocket lifting cargo to the space station disintegrated minutes after liftoff.
And we appear to have had a launch vehicle failure.
While it's disappointing, it also can be a real gift to the final design.
Liftoff. SpaceX is now on a streak of 62 successful launches, and Crew Dragon is armed with an escape system.
Dragon launch escape initiated.
If the rocket falters, its engines can push away the capsule, landing the crew safely in the ocean.
And we have splashdown.
You genuinely believe if something goes wrong, you've got options.
Absolutely.
Yep. We really do focus on trying to remind folks that, there are people on the pointy end of this rocket ship, and that's important to us. But there's another aspect of it that we are kind of an extension of what they're trying to accomplish.
When SpaceX was founded in 2002, Elon Musk handicapped its chances of succeeding at 1 in 10. 18 years later, its rocket is on the pad, and its crew is set to make space history. Mark Strassman, CBS News, at the Kennedy Space Center.
I cannot wait to watch that tomorrow. It's going to happen before This Is Now is actually on, so we're going to have a complete wrap-up tomorrow around 12:15. If you watch us, you'll see all the highlights of how that unfolds. Yeah, super cool. I got some more news.
Yeah, some random news. An unusual collaboration is hitting the streets. Nike and Ben & Jerry's ice cream teamed up to create this shoe called the Chunky Donkey. It's inspired by the design on pints of Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey ice cream. The suggested retail price is $100, and they're already sold out online. There are reports people are trying to resell the shoes for more than $1,000.
What? Okay, when I read the headline, I have to say I didn't see the video yet of this story, and I did not see how they were going to create a resemblance to the ice cream, but they did.
Yeah, a little cow print.
Yeah, as soon as they saw the shoe, in the clouds, it looks like the ice cream pint. It really does. They did a good job.
Would you wear those, John?
What do you think? I think I would. I'm not afraid to wear a little color out there. Our executive producer, Ian Shurin, collects Nikes. He said he didn't pass on these ones. So, more news. Chicken sandwich wars continue.
That's
dun, dun,
right.
dun.
KFC is testing a new premium chicken sandwich. The KFC chicken sandwich replaces the fast food chain's crispy kernel sandwich. Now, the new sandwich has a larger, extra crispy chicken fillet on a buttered brioche bun, and it's topped with pickles and spicy or classic mayo. It's currently being tested only at locations in Orlando, Florida. It costs $3.99, and if successful, KFC could roll out the new sandwich at all 4,000 of its U.S. locations.
You're our chicken sandwich expert here at H&N.
That actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'd give it a try. Why not?
Yeah.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for This Is Now on this Tuesday. We got some press conferences coming up that we're going to bring you live on our H&N digital platforms. Mayor Caldwell at 1:30, Governor Ige at 2:30, so stick around to watch those. You guys stay safe out there and have a wonderful afternoon.